Hello everyone, and welcome to the Gigan tutorial. We are going to do a video on Mr. Spiky Boy over here. I will talk about his punches, his kicks, and his fierce attack buttons, as well as his jump attacks, his grab, and any other special attributes he has. Oh yeah, and also the beam as well. We'll talk about that as well. Let's start with his punches. Here is a basic jab string. The third hit of it is pretty crap, and I don't really like it very much because it's unsafe on block. See? I basically just punish it afterwards with some quick jabs from Godzilla. Like, the first two hits are okay, because you can block pretty quickly afterwards, so the opponent has a harder time punishing you. But the third hit... See? He punished me completely through it, so I wouldn't recommend using it. Let's talk about his directionals. We have probably the one you see me use the most in my videos. We have Uppercut, which is his down punch. It's used to launch opponents, and it also functions as an anti-air move of sorts. It's better against hops than flying opponents, so like, if Godzilla's jumping here, like that, then I can catch out his hop with an aerial attack, with his down punch. I like the move, but it is unsafe on block, so be careful about that. See? Unsafe on block, keep that in mind. Also, Godzilla, let's get you straight to the health real quick. There we go. And then we also have forward punch, which is not this move, but it's this one. Oh, nope. Thanks, camera change. Forward punch is this one. It's very similar to Godzilla's forward punch. It's very similar to that one, in which they hook forward like that. But Gigan's is slower. And just like a lot of his other moves, it's unsafe on block, so be careful about that. Oh, if there's a reoccurring theme you'll notice about Gigan, is that a lot of his directionals are not great on block, so keep that in mind. We also have that one move I messed up earlier, which was back punch. I don't really like the move very much, because it's slow. Oh, did he just block that while standing? Hold on. Yeah, apparently you could block that, just entirely. I thought it was a low, but no. Okay. No. Okay. We'll do that. Okay, so that move is just really, really bad. Awesome. I usually use it if my opponent is trying to... Hold on. It does go underneath jab, so if you know your opponent likes to jab, you can go for it. But I don't really like the move very much. It's kind of... It's slow and very situational. And here is his last one. Up punch. Overhead slam. Just similar to Godzilla's, but with a worse hitbox. But considerably more range, and it also does a bit more damage. I'm not the biggest fan of the move because it misses a lot. Like, it's good for hitting opponents that are high up in the air that are hard to hit for his forward punch and his down punch, which are like these two moves. It's good for catching out because of how high up the hitbox goes. But again, like pretty much every other one of his moves, they're bad on block, so be careful about using it. If there's anything you'll learn, is that Gigan's offensive pressure relies a lot more on his jab strings, a lot more than his directional inputs, like a lot of other monsters. Now let's talk about his kicks. We have kick 1 and 2. Kick 1 I do not like, because the hitbox is pretty jank on it, and it's fairly slow. Kick 2, though, I actually really like kick 2, because one of the things you can do is you can do jab kick, Does good damage, interrupts your move that an opponent would like to do, and you can follow it up with either blocking the move. See? Alright, so I'm gonna block. Alright, so... Oh! That was grab. Okay. But you get the idea. Jab kick is going to be very useful for Gigan. You should probably learn that move, that combination, because that will be useful against like half of the cast. Most of the cast. It won't be useful against the Ghidorahs. Well, I mean, against the Ghidorah, against Mecha King Ghidorah, you want to do double jab. But that's besides the point. We have up kick. Very situational move. The first hit of it never connects. The second hit connects sometimes. Like, the best thing about it is how much distance it covers, but I don't really like it at all. It's definitely much better in the sequel game where it actually consistently hits the opponent and it serves a useful function there. I wouldn't recommend using up kick. Unless you're fighting King Ghidorah, because that move consistently hits him a lot more. Because of how wide he is. We also have down kick. The classic toast up. Definitely make use of that if you know your opponent's going to use a move that leaves them very vulnerable afterwards. Like this here, yeah, I'm not going to do an example. But yeah, if your opponent uses a move that's like really laggy, and they have their foot out, you can toast up them and get a big hit off of it. I love my toast up moves, and Gigan most certainly has a toast up move. We also have his back kick. It's one of his blunt moves that he has in his arsenal. Very useful for whiff punishing, and the move itself is slow and the range on it isn't great, but it also has a long-lasting hitbox. So sometimes, even when his feet are on the ground, like in that instance right there, it still hits. I've seen it hit before, but it is finicky. Definitely wouldn't recommend using it on block. Same with pretty much the rest of those kicks I mentioned earlier. They're all unsafe on block and get punished pretty hard, so be careful about using them. And then the last kick, we have forward kick. It's very much like the Godzilla's forward kick, but not as much damage. Maybe slightly more damage, but no knockback, which I consider the knockback a lot more important. But I'd say overall this guy's kicks and punches are like not amazing. Like, it's pretty telling when I think his jab, this string right here, I say is one of his better options. Let you know how underwhelming I think his kid is. Although I do like his uppercut. His uppercut looks cool, and when it works very well. Now let's talk about his fierce buttons. We have those two, which leads into the up fierce. I don't like this move, just mostly because of how slow it is. It's very similar to kick in that aspect. It's more useful with like dash punches, because the dash punch, generally speaking, if you're like out the limit right here, the second kick won't connect. But the fierce attack will. So it's useful for that, but it's very situational, and the dude already has plenty of edge attacks to go through. So you won't see me using standard fierce a lot. I think it's underwhelming. Now let's talk about his forward fierce button. He basically spins in a circle. Well, he doesn't spin in a circle, but he does that, basically. It's not that great of a move. Like, if you can get all the hits to connect, it does good damage. But it's not great for damage. It's bad on block. Big surprise. And it also doesn't launch the opponent unless you're in rage. So, not really great. Okay, that was not what I meant to do. Yeah, that button you saw at the end there, that's his up fierce. The good thing about up fierce is that it has multiple hitboxes. So it's got like the one while he's, in the motion spinning, at least towards the later half of the move. And then it has a second hit where it hits lower to the ground and hits your opponent there too. Another good thing about this move is that it hits on OTG pretty consistently compared to like up punch. Up punch is very finicky there, but up fierce is a lot better on that front. I quite like the move, but be careful about spamming it too much, because your opponent can actually, well, they could block it and then punish you for it, so be careful about that. We also have his down fierce, which is one of my go-to moves. It leads to a launcher, which you can actually jump cancel out of. See? You can also cancel into his hops. It's very useful for getting combos started, as well as doing just good damage in general. It even works on the mechas because it toe stubs them, so you can get a big hit afterwards. And then the last fierce attack I'll talk about is back fierce. It's a slow move that's not the most consistent hitbox wise, but it's an important part of his kit because it deals blunt damage and it does a lot of damage. So if you toe stub your opponent, what I like to go for is this move because it does big damage and then you can go into OTG game afterwards. I like it for that much. It's pretty good there. Again, it's not great on block, as you can see here. Definitely be very careful about that. Just like a lot of his moves. I'd say his fierce buttons are generally better than his directional inputs on like his punches and his kicks, particularly the kicks. But again, compared to someone like Godzilla, who has significantly better buttons to play around with, and all that good stuff, it's not great for poor Gigan. Not the best. Now let's talk about his jump attacks. We have Jump Punch. This is a go-to move. It is very good damage, it's not horrendously slow, and its hitbox is pretty consistent, which is something he struggles with a lot, is consistent hitboxes. That though, of course, like a lot of his moves, it's not safe on block. Be careful about that. That's just kind of Gigan in general, though. Let's talk about his jump attacks. We have Jump Punch. It knocks the opponent to the ground and can actually hit them on the ground, and does good damage. It's definitely a move that Gigan wants to go for. Make use of it. Because you honestly need just about everything you can get your hands on with this character, so... Jump Punch, solid move, definitely one of his better buttons. I like it for that much alone. Next we have Jump Kick. It serves an important function because it's an air-to-air tool. And it's also a blunt, so it's very useful against things like the mechas. Particularly Mecha King Ghidorah, since the character is really tall, and this will hit him. But the biggest problem with the move, as you can see here, is the hitbox on it is horrible. It is very tiny. A very, very tiny move. Definitely want to keep that in mind. Oh, darn it, I was going to pick that up. Oh well. We also have his last jump button, Jump Fierce. Move does good damage, and while it doesn't go through block, it does take your opponent out of block. Of course. I just completely whiffed that. That's a big problem with Gigan's Fierce button there, is that it whiffs a lot. And also another thing, let's see if there's still a building. You see this building right here? If I jump Fierce, the building stops it, so be careful about using this move in urban areas, because you will slam into a building, and it will put you on OTG, which is really bad in this game. So I'd say definitely use this move if you notice your opponent's trying to punish you with like grounded options and that sort of thing. But if your opponent has like a fast anti-air option, this move will just get punished out pretty hard. Or it'll just whiff the opponent completely. Definitely his most situational move out of the three, which is saying something considering jump kick doesn't hit a lot of the time. I'd say definitely use jump punch though. Jump punch is a very good button. Make good use of it. Now let's talk about his beams. We have his eye charge, which is that. The biggest problem with his eye charge is that not only is the move not super amazing damage-wise, it's probably some of the lowest damaging beams in the game. Don't quote me on that. Its beam damage is anemic, and to make matters worse, it actually has a fairly limited range. As you can see there. It reaches about the same range, if maybe slightly more than Megalon. Which, Megalon is not a great range beam, so that is unfortunate. Let's talk about one of his better buttons, though. We have Energy Shotgun. This unassuming move is basically one of the reasons why his OTG game is very dangerous. Because you can knock your opponent, hit them with Jump Punch, and then hit them with Energy Shotgun afterwards if they try to roll out of the way or use a get-up attack. Because it will hit them before they do their get-up attack most of the time. Energy Shotgun is definitely one of his better buttons. It's also really good on barrier because if your opponent's stuck on the barrier or stuck on a wall or something like that, the Energy Shotgun will just keep hitting them. So if you're next to your opponent on a wall or a barrier, you can really keep them inside that area for even a little bit. So definitely keep that in mind. Although it's also okay on block, but the biggest problem with the Energy Shotgun is that the hitbox is very inconsistent. And sometimes it just straight up whiffs on your opponent. Like that. Move is not very consistent at all. So it is very finicky. Hard to deal with that for sure. And then his throws. And then we'll talk about his special ability. And if I can get it this video, I'll talk about his rage as well. I'll probably see if I can get the rage as soon as possible. This is his standard grab. It's not a very good button at all. I'd say it's the worst grab in the game. You might think, why is it bad? It's got good range. Well, here's the problem. It's slow. It's really, really slow. Plus the grab hitbox is actually shorter than it looks. Significantly shorter than it looks. So your opponent's too far away, the grab won't connect. And it does very minimal blunt damage afterwards, so your opponent can just punish you for using it. Though sometimes I've seen cases where the move's too close, and it just straight up whiffs. That right there you saw is his kick throw. The good thing about this move is that it does solid damage. Now let's talk about... Yeah, that's his rage attack. I just want to show off the rage attack. His rage attack is easily one of the best ones for damage in the game. Like, it's not... Like, if your opponent is running away from the move or can just fly over it, it's not good. But if you got your opponent set up in a situation where they can't really escape, and you can, like, juggle them near the walls and that sort of stuff, he does really good damage there. Ooh, there's Rage again. But yeah, Rage button on Gigan, very nice. Very good button. I quite enjoy using it. A good rage for sure. Definitely better than something like Angurus's or Rodan's. At least damage-wise. But hitbox-wise, it's probably worse than the both of them. Except for Angurus. Angurus's is just there. Let's see. And then for... You saw the normal throw. You saw the kick throw. Here is this fierce throw. This move does good damage, as you see there. It does good damage, and it sends your opponent at a particular angle. It's really good if your opponent is, like, near the barrier, and you can bounce them off the barrier and then hit them with either a dash punch afterwards, or just one of the other moves that you got. Yeah, that's all of his throws and his grab. Let's talk about something that's unique to him, though. Unique to Gigan specifically. Him and Megalon both share special attributes. not attributes, but a special move for each. For Gigan's, is the teleport. It looks cool, and it teleports directly behind your opponent, which you would think would be a good thing, but here's the problem. You can block it. That'd be fair if you try to block that, you do get knocked back, but Gigan still doesn't benefit from it. So while the option is good if, say, your opponent's near a power-up, and you want to get behind them to try to keep away from it, it's good for that, as well as just mixing up your opponent. It can also deal with some further away enemy attacks, so that's good for that. Teleport, I would say definitely make use of it, but you can't spam it like you could with some other teleports in other fighting games. It's definitely a move that's not as good as it should be. Quite frankly, its sequel does a much better job with the teleport there. It's such a better move there. But here, it has a purpose, but it's, again, situational. That's just kind of a lot of Gigan's mantra, is just situational, unfortunately. It's mostly because the dude just is really bad on block. A lot of his moves just aren't great on block. Okay, so apparently you can... Okay, so... How did I forget that was his beam attack? Okay. See, we'll do... Okay, yeah, that... Oh, great. Yep, that's not safe on block. Awesome. Or at least it doesn't seem like it. I'd say jab kick is still worth it just for the variety and damage, as well as the fact that in rage, the kick actually does knockback, so it's good for that. Although it might not be as safe on block as I thought it was. The AI is not a good testing dummy, I'll tell you that much. They are not a good testing dummy. Let's see, we'll talk about his combos. We'll talk about his combos now. We have up punch. You can hop over and then do forward punch and jump punch. It's definitely one of my go-to combos with the Giganator. I quite like it. Very good sequence there. Although the hard part, of course, is making sure you get the hit on the move in the first place. Yeah, you do good damage on OTG there. There's also down fierce. You can do jump punch or jump kick out of that. He's got some good combo potential, but the problem with his combos, generally speaking, is they require a lot of edged attacks. And against the mechas, they're just not very good. I thought you could use up fierce. Up fierce and down fierce are still useful, but like up punch and down punch. I mean down punch and forward punch, they're still not great, unfortunately. Let's see, one more thing. Oh yeah, his get up attacks. We have the one where he's belly down. I'd say in terms of usefulness, they're both about roughly the same. Though the good thing about his get up attacks compared to a lot of other monsters' get up attacks is that hold on. Belly up, please. Thank you. Is that they're multi-hit moves. So you can do extra damage that way with the multi-hit properties. That's just something his get-up attack shares with Mechagodzilla 2, surprisingly enough. But my thoughts on Gigan as a character overall? He is a character that struggles. He has good damage output, but it's myriad by a problem of him just not being great on block. His moves being fairly inconsistent and having weird hitboxes that just whiff the opponent a lot. And also being coupled with the worst beam attack in the game in the form of his I-beam that's just not great damage-wise, as well as not great knockback-wise. It's pretty much inferior to everyone else's beam attack, Anguirus included, because those either do more damage or they have more knockback. Or they serve a better purpose than what it does for Gigan here. Gigan is definitely the character I'd call the worst character in the game. And I would say that Megalon's probably the closest to him, but that's more because I find everyone else has some really good stuff going for them. Whereas I think Megalon has it slightly worse, but not by much. Whereas Gigan is definitely the bottom of the barrel. If you pick this character, I wish you luck. That's all I'm going to say. I wish you luck. If you find something cool, feel free to tell me about it, because I would like to figure out how to make this character better than he currently is. Anyway, that should be it for the tutorial for now. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Do not forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you around in the next tutorial video. You take care now. Peace. Bye-bye.